Welcome to the Scoreboard Beginner tutorial. Today we will be going over how to convert a professor's answer key into a self-grading real-time feedback assignment for students to complete. And as well, we will be going over all of these tabs on how students can complete them and how the Scoreboard program works with different types of questions. So this right here is the professor's answer key, and we first want to look at the setup of the assignment. So we have the tab name down here. We have some instructions for the students to follow. And then this is what the professors create themselves. All cells that have just numbers in them and are white will show up to the students on their assignments. However, if the cells have formulas or functions embedded in them, these will be filled out by the students on their assignment. So as we can see here, there is a sum function here, as well as all the way down through here. And same with these cells here, there are functions hidden behind them, so they will be for the students to complete. If you want to have some of these show up functions, but still show up like these cells here, we will go into that a little bit later, but all you have to do is change the color of the cell. We will be going over all of these different sheets in a minute. So we are going to go ahead and create the start file for the students to work on. So all we have to do is come over to the Scoreboard program and hit this create a start file button. However, before we do that, we are going to change one thing on our honesty control setting, just so we can see this later on in the assignment. We are going to change this keep original values to the vary values up to the shift percentage. Again, we will go over this later in the video, but all you need to know is that some of the values will shift on the shift away from the professor's answer key values, just to increase academic integrity and honesty. But now that we have that done, we are going to go ahead and just hit this create a start file button right here. And it's going to prompt us to pick a file we want to have generated into a student assignment. And then it is going to generate the assignment for us. Once the assignment is done generating, it will prompt us to pick a save location. We will just save it to our desktop. And now we have a file, a start file for the student to use. On the left up here, we have information about the course and the professor. Over here, we have information about the student. And in this top right corner, we have information about the assignment, how many points it is worth, and how much we have completed. If we scroll down on this Scoreboard page, we will see a breakdown of all of the different worksheets, as well as how many points we have earned and the possible points for the sheets. As you can see here, one of the sheets, the chart sheet, has to be graded after submission, and we will show you how to do that once we get to that question on the assignment. So the first thing that we need to do is go over the Scoreboard student assignment. On the left here is the professor's answer key, and this on the right is the student's start file and what they will be completing. As we can see, the Scoreboard ribbon up here tells students how many points they have earned for this sheet and how many that they can earn, as well as the student can go over to this feedback setting here and change the feedback for their worksheet. If they want to have the feedback on, they press feedback on. The taunting on mode is an irreverent prompt generator that just keeps students engaged. And the feedback off allows students to practice in an exam setting, but we are going to leave the feedback on for now. So as you can see, if the student types in the exact same function or formula as the professor's assignment, they will receive 1 point, a perfect message, and their box will turn green. As you can see, we use a sum function on this student assignment, and we use a sum function on the answer key. Now, if the student does something wrong, like let's say they use the sum function and they forget to add March, then they will get a red box, and they will be prompted to look up here and say that the value is too low, they need to try again. This will prompt the student to go back into the cell, say, oh, I forgot March, add that over, like so, and they will earn another point. There are a lot of different messages that students can receive from the scoreboard program, but that we won't go over that in this video. We will go over that in another video. Again, the student, all they have to do is the sum function of all of the January items, like so. They receive their 4 points in the perfect. And as you can see, the scoreboard program is updating with this already. We have 4 possible 9 points here, and we've earned 4 points on our total assignment. Once we do that, we can just copy these over and finish this table. So what we need to do here is the percent of grand total. So 418 divided by this number here. But if we do that, we get a red box. Now, why is that? We go up to the feedback and it says we are missing a cell lock and we need to add one so we can copy the formula over. This is because if we try to copy this formula across, kind of how we did up here, we are getting dividing by 0 errors because we have these cells over here with nothing in them. So what we need to do is go in here, add a cell lock, like so, and hit enter. This gives us a yellow box. The yellow box indicates to students that they have the correct answer, but it is not in the right format. The format for all the cells is right up here above the feedback, and it prompts the students to put it in a percent with 0 decimal places. So what we do is we go up here, number, percent, 0 decimal places, and all we do is we hit the F9 key, and we can copy it over like so. As you can see, we now have all of our points for this tab, and we can go ahead and move on to a different one. So we will be going on to the Assumptions tab. One unique thing about Scoreboard is that it will change the answers based on this assumption here. So for this, we're trying to see if these people meet the threshold of the minimum GPA. And here we have it as this function that is off to the left. And so we are just going to copy that in. So the if function, their GPA is greater than or equal to this minimum here. Then we put yes, and if not, we put no. Like so. But like we did on the last tab, we need to put the cell lock so we get it green. And if we copy these down, we will get all of our points. However, if this GPA minimum were to change, like let's say this assumption changes instead of 3.5 to 3.0, right? These boxes will change. So if we go back 3.5, you see some of them switch. But if we make it even lower, like let's say a 2, they all start to switch. And if we refresh this this assignment, it still counts it as a correct answer, even if this assumption changes. So if we go back here, just to make it a little easier to see, we have the 3.5 GPA minimum. So if we change this to 2 and still copy paste this down, we are still going to get the correct answer. Scoreboard still knows that as long as the formula and or function is correct, it doesn't really matter what's in this assumptions box, just that the student has done the question correctly. The next type of question that we are going to complete is a multiple choice question. I'm just going to zoom out so you can see it a little better. But this is what the student's assignment looks like. So on the professor's assignment, we have this sort of answer block thing here. And this is because the multiple choice questions in Scoreboard work in an answer blocking system using the concat function. So what this requires from the student is for them to get all of the questions right before they get their points on the assignment. So let's take a look at that. So let's say the student starts answering the questions, right? They get B, for question 2, C, 3A, 4A. But instead of getting B for question 5, let's say they go down here and say, what is syntax? Oh, I think A is correct. Let's put A. They do not get any points, and the answer block does not turn green. So as you can see, the answer block down here is a concat of all of these above it. And since BCAAB does not match BCAAA, we don't get any points. This is put in place to encourage students to actually think through the question, so they just don't sit here and guess on all of them. We are hoping that they don't have the time to guess every possible combination of answers, so that just kind of promotes students learning and actually doing the multiple choice questions. So what we can see how we get the points if we just select the right answer. The answer block turns green as it matches the professor's answer key, and we have earned 5 of 5 possible points. Scoreboard can also utilize pivot tables and generate pivot tables prompts for the students. So let's zoom out a little bit. This on the left is the professor's assignment. This is their data set, and this is the pivot table they want to have the students to create. As you can see on the professor's assignment, there is no instructions for the student on how to create the pivot table. This pivot table also is a model of this pivot table. It is an image from this that Scoreboard produces, so students can't copy and paste the pivot table over into this yellow cell here. So this prompt generated by Scoreboard indicates what students need to do in order to earn all of their points. So as we can see, it says using the raw data, make a pivot table displaying count of view key for each studio by venue. We also need to filter venue excluding DVD. So let's go ahead and construct this pivot table based on the instructions and this pivot table model we are given. So we're going to click into the data set, insert pivot table, bring up this prompt. That is where our pivot table is. Awesome. And the location we want to have the pivot table go to. However, we need to make sure that this pivot table goes into this yellow pivot top corner. This is important because if we put it anywhere else, the Scoreboard program cannot grade it. So we hit OK. And it's going to bring up this prompt saying we need to override this data. It's fine. It's just the pivot top corner. And we hit yes. So this will bring up our pivot table. Now what we need to do is we need to construct this. So we go, okay, studio, we want that in the rows. Perfect. We want the venue in the columns, but we don't want DVD. So we're going to go up here and get rid of DVD. Awesome. We also need to use the count of these. So let's use venue and count, and we don't want the total. We want it out of the grand total for each of the movie studios. So value field settings, show value as, and percent of row total. However, although this looks right, we have 49, 49, we haven't earned any points. This is because, like the other tabs, the formatting has to be the same in order for Scoreboard to be able to grade it. So we need it as a percentage with 0 decimal places like so. And then we refresh. Again, that is F9. And there we go. We have earned 9 of 9 points. Checking back in on our Scoreboard summary tab, we are halfway through the assignment. We have 26 total points, and all of the ones that we have completed, we have all of the points for. So let's go back to the pivot table tab and move this back over here. And so basically we can just see that these are the exact same as the professor's generated pivot table. Moving on to the sort tab, like pivot tables, students can sort data sets like the professors do in order to get points. Also, like the pivot tables, the sort questions have the auto-generated prompts guiding students on how to create or how to recreate the professor's sorted data set. So as we see, it says, please sort the table by state in ascending order and by total sales in descending order. All we do for this, click into the data set. We are going to do a sort and filter, sort up here, sort by, what did it say? State in ascending order, so A to Z, as we can see right here on the professor's answer key. And then we want to sort by sales, so total sales in descending order. Oops, so smallest to largest. Nope, we want that to be largest to smallest. We hit OK. Scoreboard is going to do its thing. And we have 5 of 5 possible points on this tab. Moving on to the next tab, we have the filter tab. In like sort, it's basically the exact same thing, but it's just using the filter setting instead of the sort setting. So we need to filter by number of total purchases greater than or equal to 30 and by number of online orders greater than 25. Like the pivot table and the sort tab, this prompt is not on the professor's original answer key, but it is generated by the program for the assignment. So to complete this tab, all we need to do is hit this sort and filter button and hit filter, and then go into here, total purchases greater than or equal to 30. Now we could go through and click all of these, but to save some time, we are going to do this is greater than or equal to 30. Awesome. And that will update there. And notice we haven't gotten any points for this thing yet because this is like the multiple choice question where we need to do all of the question before we get any of our points. And then we need to do online orders greater than 25. Again, we could go through and click all of those, but it's just a faster use of our time if we just do it like this. And as you can see, the answer block has turned green, and we have earned 5 of 5 possible points. The next tab is the Keep tab. And as I mentioned in the video previously, there is a way to keep cells shown to the students without or even if they have formulas or functions hidden behind them. This is done by placing the cells we want to have shown to the students in this dark blue color. As you can see on this assignment, we have this formula here, and these cells are painted dark blue. On the student's answer key, we have no area for us to answer the question. These aren't worth points, and we can see the formula hidden behind the cell. So let's just do this normally and show how this can be helpful to students. So first, we are going to look at if we don't have any of these helpful hints. So we would just do average occupancy like so. And this matches the formula behind here. However, maybe we don't know how to do it. A student is confused. They don't know how to answer this question. But we have a helpful hint for them located right here. All the student has to do is click on this cell and say, okay, what are we doing? We're multiplying B19 times C19. And here we are doing B20 by C20. Okay, so in order to get my points, I'm assuming we're going to do B21 times C21. There we go, and we fill that down. This can be helpful for harder questions or teaching students new things. It can just be really beneficial to have some helpful hints like that. Another thing that Scoreboard can do with the colored cells is we can have value shifting on. So this was what I had you turn on in the UI on the Scoreboard program. This is going to change the numbers that the students see on their assignments. So let's look at no value shifting first. If we don't have any value shifting cells, so any of these purple cells here, we have none of them in this one up here on the answer key. All of these numbers are going to be the same in this column here as on the student's assignment. So we just do the same thing, right? We do this number times this number, and we get that. This will show up on all of these students' assignments. They will all be the exact same. However, if we turn on value shifting, the numbers that the students receive here in this row that are painted purple are going to be different. This is just another layer of academic integrity to try to deter students away from cheating. So as you can see, we would do something like this, but the number we are going to have here, 3165, is not the same as 3150 like it is on the professor's answer key. This is because Scoreboard knows how to grade these It does it automatically as long as the formula or function, the pathway to get the answer is correct. It doesn't matter if these numbers here match the ones on the answer key, specifically for when they are value shifting. And remember, if we want value shifting to come up, we need to turn that setting on the UI. And lastly, we have the chart tab. This is the final tab we have on this assignment, and it looks something like this. The charts work in a similar way to pivot tables, except there is no way for us to grade the charts in real time, so they need to be recorded, which we will go over after we have generated our chart. So to generate this chart, all we are going to do is select our data set, and we are going to build it off this model, but we will get to that later. So we select the data set, hit recommended charts. We need a pie chart, and we're going to hit OK. Now what we need to do, like the pivot table, is we need to ensure, that this chart is in this yellow box. This is super important because if it is not in this yellow box, the scoreboard program cannot grade it when we go to record the grades. So what we need to do is just make this look like the model. So let's zoom out a little bit. We go here, computer preference. I think I spelled that right. Looks good to me. And then we need these percentages on the model to be on ours as well. So then we go to chart design in this top, quick layout, and we add this right here. Now this is looking like the model chart, and we are going to go ahead and record the grades. But before we do that, we're going to go back and make sure we have all of our correct answers first. So we have a completed assignment. As you can see, we have earned 47 of 47 possible points. This has not been graded yet, so our overall grade on the assignment is 90. However, there is a way to record the grades, which I will show you right now. So all we need to do to record the chart grade is to go back into the scoreboard program like so, and go over to the recorder tab. This right here is the grade recorder system. We can change the amount of points in the learning management system. We have ISMS, Canvas, and Blackboard. We are going to leave it like this for now. And we are going to hit this record grade button. This is going to bring up a file picker. We want to choose the start file, not the original assignment, the start file that the students have completed. And it will bring up a save location. Perfect. And it will generate it will go through all of the tabs on the scoreboard assignment and generate a report for us based on all of the student start files that are submitted into the recorder program. As you can see, the program has given us all of the start files we put into it. We only put in the one, so that's why we only have the one here. But if you run multiple start files, it will generate out this list. We can see that our student super mascot has received an 100%. Go back to the start file we just completed, it will update showing that we have a 100% now. Our student super mascot does. We can scroll down and see that they have earned a 5 out of 5 on the chart. And if we go back to the chart tab, right over here, we have the feedback for the student. They have a 5 out of 5 as it matches perfectly, but if they were to miss some points on the chart, it would have a 4 out of 5 or 3 out of 5 with what they missed and what they did wrong. I hope that this has been helpful to you, and we hope you enjoy Scoreboard just as much as we do.